האמת בסדר, אבל יש להם קצת בעיה עם הסאונד, עם מה שזה... כן, שמתי לב לזה. הנה אני צריך להעביר את זה כן, שמתי לב לזה. זה די בסדר. או שלא. הנה אני יכול להשתמש בה, אני יכול לראות את זה. תסתכלו את זה, אני חייב לצלם את זה. כן, שמתי לב לזה. זה די בסדר. או שלא. איזה בסה שאי אפשר לשמוע שירים עכשיו קוראים ביוטיוב. אפשר לשמוע קצת ג'יי קול ולהשתמש בה. רגע שלא ישמעו אותי כפול. כן, אפשר לראות פודקאסטים, מקווה שזה לא, מה זה עם זה? אפשר לראות את זה בלייב, לא נראה לי, יכול להיות נראה לי של זה, אבל לקופירייט אולי. בוא נראה טיפים לפודקאסטים.
Of the Smart Passive Income podcast.
מקווה שהם לא עושים קופירייטים. לא, רגע, מה זה? חכו, יש יותר מדי סרטונים, יותר מדי צ'יל.
You know, if somebody had told me these things earlier, things would have been so much easier. And I'm about to share them with you. In this video, I want to share with you 5 different things that nobody will tell you when you're starting a podcast. Maybe you've started one already, or you are about to start your own podcast. Either way, make sure you watch this video all the way through, because not only I'm going to tell you these 5 things, which unfortunately are all bad things, I'm also going to share with you through advice that I've learned over the last decade of podcasting how to counter each of these 5 bad things. And at the end, I'm going to share with you a specific strategy that has worked crazy for myself and my students for getting more reviews, which is really important for your podcast. So make sure to stick around for that. It'll be working for you, guaranteed. Hey, my name is Pat Flynn, host of the Smart Passive Income podcast, started in 2010. I've since recorded over 1,600 episodes, have amassed over 65 million downloads. And the one thing I've learned to start off with is podcast analytics are terrible. They suck really bad. Let's go over the list. You get, from your podcast host, you get the number of downloads and plays, which is kind of the same thing. And that's kind of it. Now, you also get some information like what device people are playing these podcasts on and, you know, what country they might be in. Yeah, it's not a lot to work with, especially if you've been on YouTube and you've seen the analytics here, which is just kind of insane. It's a little overwhelming, in fact. But in the podcast world, we're still catching up. Fortunately, things seem to be moving in the right direction with Apple's Podcast Connect. Same thing with Google Podcast Manager. But overall, we just don't have that much to work with. So how do we improve our show? How do we get better? How do we take what we do have access to and improve ourselves? Well, here's the trick. We want to trend upward. We want more downloads over time. Not every episode will be downloaded more than the last. Hopefully, that would be awesome. But generally speaking, you want an upward curve that would allow for some sort of trends in growth. That's how you know that you're doing things right. Pay attention to the episodes that seem to be standing out and getting more popular or have more downloads. Do more of that.
את הפודקאסט הזה עושה משהו טוב, אם הוא 1,000 סאבים, אני הלייק הראשון שלו. אני כאילו, זה הפרק האחרון, כל שאר הפרקים שלו צפיתי, זה על כדורסל, אחלה פודקאסט. צפיתי בכל הפרקים חוץ מהאחרון, אבל שמר את זה לאחר כך.
Do less of the ones that have less downloads. Number 2, just starting a podcast does not...
יש לי עוד פודקאסטים לראות, אבל עדיין אני מנסה לשמוע קצת טיפים על איך לשפר.
not mean you're going to get listeners. Back in the old days, by old days I mean like
לי כל כך הרבה, אבל עדיין איכותיים מי שיש.
2010, you could get a podcast up and you get featured in New and Noteworthy for 8 weeks and you get a ton of downloads right away. And now with over 1 million podcasts, which in the scheme of things isn't a lot, but it's definitely saturated right now, doesn't mean you can't succeed though. You have to work a little bit harder to gain listeners. Just putting it up there, if you build it, they're not going to come.
Ray, people will come, Ray.
Now, there are a few instances and a lot of rare cases where people who do put a podcast up and they literally do no extra work and they amass a ton of downloads. That is possible kind of anywhere, right? But there are some things you can do to increase your likelihood of getting listeners. Number one, make sure that when you launch your show, you make a big deal out of it. Utilize your network, your social media following, family, friends, whatever. Make some noise the moment that you...
האבץ והארגינין בקולגייט טוטל נצמדים לשיניים כמו מגנט, ל-12 שעות של הגנה מפני רובד חיידקים.
משעמם. אוי!
Looking to start a video podcast, but you don't want to break the bank. In this video, I'll be breaking down some of the...
אני מצלם בכלל מהטלפון, שם את הטלפון על איזה משהו, ויעמוד וזהו.
best gear to get started, like this $35 mic that I bought on Amazon.
כמה זה $35? 100 ומשהו כבר בהפסד. כן, יפה.
Let's go.
You gotta just press record.
Hey, what's up? It's Omar Corey with Think Media, helping you build your influence with online video. And on this channel, sometimes we do YouTube tip videos to help you grow your subscribers and viewers, as well as break down various setups depending on whatever budget you may find yourself in, kind of like this video. So if you're new here,
את הסאונד שלי, איך הולך, ברו. כן, יפה.
let's go.
You gotta just press record.
Hey, what's up?
וואי, יש לי איזה דיליי מטורף.
Tip videos to help you grow your subscribers and viewers, as well as break down various setups depending on whatever budget you may find yourself in, kind of like this video. So if you're new here,
את הסאונד שלי, איך הולך, ברו. כן, יפה.
let's go.
You gotta just press.
זה לא כזה גרוע. נחמד דווקא.
Here, consider subscribing. Now, video podcasting is one of the best ways to create content because really in one sitting, you're capturing video content and then you're capturing audio content and then you can distribute it in various different ways, but it all happens in one sitting. Now, you don't need a fancy camera or you don't even need a fancy microphone to get started. So let's just break down real quick some of the best recommended gear when getting started with a video podcast. Now, at bare minimum, you're gonna want a camera to capture your video podcast. And I am using my iPhone 11 Pro to shoot this video. And it's on a tripod and we'll post links to everything I mentioned down in the description below. But you can get a fairly inexpensive smartphone tripod and get started.
כן. נו, 1,500 צפיות, בסדר גם. מה? לא. לא את הפרסומות האלה.
my opinion, podcasting is one of the easiest and probably one of the most fun ways to get ideas and thoughts out to an audience. So if you're someone that's been thinking about making a podcast, but perhaps you've been discouraged by the process, this video is for you. I'm going to show you a really easy and affordable way to get your podcast up and running in as little as a couple hours. And we're going to do it all on an iPad. Now, before we start, even though I'm focusing on the iPad, and in my case, the iPad Pro, pretty much everything I'm about to show you applies to laptops and desktop computers as well. And if you're on iOS, this will definitely work with your iPhone. So there's basically two main practical things you need to start a podcast, and that's a microphone and a recorder. In my case, the recorder is the iPad Pro, and my microphone is the Rode NT USB Mini. This is a microphone that Rode sent me to check out, and at first I had plans just to use it as my new desktop recording.
פרסומת, אני משתמש באוזניות לפעמים ולפעמים. גם בלי אוזניות לפעמים זה בסדר. לי פשוט השיטה זה לעשות עוד פודקאסטים. נמשיך.
Moment that you launch. Number 2, a great way to grow your show is to be a guest on other people's shows. So do that. People are...
אין עוד פודקאסטים לא מכיר אנשים אחרים עם פודקאסטים.
already listening and they...
ננסה אבל להביא אורחים, מי שרוצה שירשום.
They can follow you and subscribe from there. Number 3, just realize that it's going to take some time. You've got to stay consistent. And this takes us to number 3, Trace. Nobody's going to tell you how hard it is to stay consistent with your content. Yes, you can get excited at the start of your podcast journey with maybe 10 episodes. You got them out there. You're fired up. We call that the honeymoon period of podcasting, where things are exciting and you're going to work a little...
פרק 19.
A little bit harder, but once you start to see that maybe the results aren't where you want them to be, or it starts to get hard because you're editing every show and then life starts to get in the way, you might...
אני מרגיש שזה גם בסדר, לא יודע, מרגיש טוב פודקאסט.
experience what's called...
לפני 4 שנים אני לא יודע אם ידעתי מה זה פודקאסט. לא יודע אם לפני 21 ידעתי מה זה. או 2020, משהו כזה.
Pod fade. We don't want you pod fade away. That consistency is really key to show up every single week or twice a week or however often you choose to come out with your show. That's what will help your audience understand when to expect your show to come out and guarantee, more likely at least, that a person will continue to listen to you over time. The best way to counter this is to plan ahead. So get ahead on your content calendar. Figure out what those episodes are going to be about. Figure out who you want to have on your show as a guest so you can schedule things ahead of time and never feel like you're in that content hamster wheel that we all feel on, where once you hit publish, when you should be celebrating, you're already worried about the next episode coming out and you have no time to market your show. You can counter that by getting ahead, planning ahead. Number 4, social media is probably the number one way that people are trying to grow their show, and it's actually a terrible, terrible strategy. Don't get me wrong. Posting your episodes on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, etc., it's smart. You might as well do that, but it's not going to give you the growth that you're looking for. Here's why. When you share on social media, guess who's seeing it? Everybody who already follows you. Yes, you might get a few retweets or have a few people share it, but it's not necessarily going to give you that landslide group of people who are going to come who have never found you before. That's what we want to have. The way to get more people to come on your show who have yet to discover you is not through social media. It's by getting elsewhere where other groups of people exist. This might be being a guest on another person's podcast. It might be being featured in a forum or group within a social media platform. It might be speaking on stage or sharing your podcast at an event or a virtual event that you might be speaking at. It might be creating content that is niched down in such a way that people within that niche start spreading the word for you. This, in fact, happened to me in episode 96 of the Smart Passive Income podcast when I created an episode to help people who did art, like sculpting, painting, drawing, etc., make more money online. That was interesting because I didn't think that episode was going to go very well, but that year, that was the #1 most downloaded episode in my archive. Why? Because people started to share it with other people like them too. So niching down actually can help you grow your show too. Yeah, just relying on social media, and in fact, a lot of people who repurpose their show, meaning taking the audio or maybe even filming it and then posting it on social media or sharing like a videogram or something like that on social media, guess what? You're probably spending a lot more time and money sharing your show with people who already... So it's like pulling teeth. It's hard and it hurts. Like in Tom Hanks in Castaway.
אתה רואה את זה? כל זה תמונות של תלמידים שלנו שמשתפים את הרווחים שלהם בקהילה בדיסקורד.
You could ask your listeners all day in every single episode, and you still might not get people to leave a review. 2 important things here, including my best tip to help you get more reviews. But first, let me start with one thing. Reviews, you might not see all of them that might come in because you're only seeing reviews that come in from your home country or wherever your home country is for your podcast, on Apple, for example. In order to see other countries' reviews of your show, you'd have to actually go to the Apple Store for that country to see it. There is a workaround, however, that'll help you actually and I think free right now, more reviews. Like I said, just asking your general audience on the...
רלוונטי לאפל ולזה. סתם בזבז לי זמן. אני יכול לעשות ככה גם. נתחיל מזה.
בטופ 3 אני חושב שהיה אפילו. אחד הזמרים.
זה מלפני כמה זמן? זה מלפני חודשיים. מי שלא יודע למה נכנסתי ב-C, כי היום אנחנו בפרק 7, ו7 זה המספר של רונלדו. אני יכול להביא חולצה של... הייתי עם חולצה של רונלדו בפרק הראשון, וכאילו אחלה של שחקן. היום אנחנו נדבר על הרבה דברים. אני עוצר שנייה, אני אראה לכם את החולצה של רונלדו. טוב, זה הכל להיום. רגע, נסתכל שנייה את הצ'אט. לא זה. רגע, שנייה, מה הולך כאן? לא, זה לא נכון. נעשה פה בכלל. לא, הצ'אט ריק. לי זה הכל להיום כן. לילה טוב.